What will my 5-minute videos contain? First, let me state I am a writer at heart. That's what I love to do. And if I could dedicate all my focus and free time to just writing and discovering the story my characters want to impart, I'd be happy with that. The joy of editing and revising is an offshoot of that love. While some may hate this part, I don't. Why? The simple answer is because it's still writing. The complex answer is I love refining what I've written. For me, editing is not hunting down mistakes and poorly written sentences. It's taking what I've written and improving it in ways that make it more beautiful, more complex, and in some cases, simpler. This process can only happen when the story has been completed. Here's a good place to add my process. I write freestyle. Some may call it writing by the seat of their pants, but I like my word instead. For those unfamiliar with the term, it means writing without a guideline. I've tried to write using guidelines, but my characters don't always adhere to what I want them to do. They rebel and go off on their own adventures, leaving me behind with notes that no longer fit the story. Writing freestyle sometimes means I don't know certain facts when I start the story, but I do by the end, which means I need to return to the beginning to add the facts where necessary. While I'd be happy just writing, I understand that to enjoy more time writing, I need to sell some of what I've written. Like all writers, I need a little food, a small roof over my head, and some form of clothing to keep me decent. To do that, I need a wee bit of cash. To earn that cash, I need to transform my written words into book format. That's the easy part. If you've never done that, don't worry. There's lots of information out there, and I'll share my experience here. That experience includes reviewing and revising a manuscript, finding an editor and proofreaders, formatting the interior, creating the cover, writing the front and back material, writing the description, what some call the book blurb, writing an author bio, getting an author profile image, setting up a website, and pulling it all together to publish that book. But as I've said, that's the easy part. Marketing is the toughest, and I'm far from a marketeer. That said, I've sold a few thousand books, and I aim to sell a lot more. So you've written a book, or you wouldn't be here. Or are you in the middle of writing a book, and you aim to finish it by the end of the year? Great. What's that you say there in the back? You want to write a book, but you don't have the time? Please, do you know how many times I've heard that in my life? Almost never is this statement true. What people mean when they say this is, I think about writing a book, but I've never made it a priority. I prefer to scroll through my phone for 20 minutes a day looking at meaningless videos instead of writing one page of prose. I can't miss my favorite TV show. It's the only time I have to relax. Priorities. If you want to write that book, then you have to make it a priority. That means dedicating some time, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, a day, to writing something. I don't care what it is, but it has to be something. Perhaps it's better to aim for a word count because something actually has to be produced before you're released from prison. Not that I see writing as a prison, but some people view it that way. The thing is, if you force yourself to write just 200 words, after a few days, you'll not only want to write those 200 words, you'll find yourself reaching 230 words, perhaps even 300. Writing is addictive. Once writers get started, they often can't help themselves. They make writing a priority. The first step is forcing that priority into your life. That means instead of watching your favorite show, washing the dishes, or scrolling through senseless videos, you have to write something. You can do all the other stuff afterwards. That's all I'll say on motivation for writing. You're either going to make it a priority or you won't. I can't force you, and I'm not wasting my time trying to encourage you. Take the lead and force yourself, or do something else. Writing might not be your thing. But if writing is your thing, oh, what a ride. As I state on my website, writing feeds my soul, fills my heart, keeps me wild, and gives me freedom few other occupations give. Why would I do anything else? I'll leave you with this quote. The moment you accept responsibility for everything in your life is the moment you gain the power to change everything in your life. If you like this content, hit the like button and subscribe. If there's something you want me to talk about, mention it in the comments. Thanks for listening. Have you ever read a book and imagined yourself within those pages? Have you ever played a fantasy game and wished you could enter that realm to take part in the adventure? Cormac has, and one day he stumbles upon a spell that transports him into the fantasy world. Now he's running for his life and struggling to find food. An old wizard tells him he can transport him home. All Cormac has to do is find someone from his world and sacrifice them. Now that Cormac's found his sacrifice, he just has to get her to the wizard and he's home free. Easy, right? It might have been if the wizard hadn't lied.